This is Tom's World Beer Tour, a podcast story featuring Tom Bowman and Tom Bradley. Now, crack one open and let the tour begin.
I think my favorite thing about this podcast is we have no idea what we're going to talk about until we let that open roll. And then we just like, here we go. This is what's going to happen. Whatever happens is what happens now. Am I right about that?
Well, here's what's really funny. When and this happens all the time, I pulled up about the same time you pulled up, and I haven't seen you in a while, right? We were off last week, and you said, hey, man, what's going on? And I went, no, I got to save that.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, nope, got to save that.
Well, that's because we want to keep the good stuff right here on the podcast for everybody.
That's
Speaking of good stuff, we are enjoying some tailgate beers right now. Can we describe where we are? Can we do that?
It's pretty easy. Pretty easy. It's a wonderful place, local.
Yeah.
Earlier, a few weeks ago, we did a show from a place called 44 Canteen.
Yeah.
Downtown, great place. We did it in the back bar area. I'm the mayor there, unofficially, officially, whatever you want to call it. I have no duties whatsoever, but I'm the mayor of 44 Canteen.
You said duty.
Prior to 44 Canteen, this place was built by our friend. Mm-hmm. And, in the world of creative names, he's pretty smart about consistency. This is known as 44 Stone. And the story of how it got there is pretty good, and I would rather he tell the story. Because I've told the story to many people.
Because he's going to join us.
He is going to join us.
For our podcast. What episode is this, 12?
13.
Ooh, Baker's
Lucky
dozen.
number 13.
Baker's dozen, lucky number 13.
So we'll do a little housekeeping. First of all, for those that don't listen very often or have never listened before, this is your first time perhaps, that voice over there would be Tom Bradley.
And this guy over here is just really a hero of mine. If I could just talk about him for a moment. This is Tom Bowman from Learfield IMG College.
Bunch of bullshit.
Hey, man, you got to throw it out there a little bit.
Hey, we didn't even plan that. Hey, this is my plot right over there.
But it is the Tom and the Tom. It's Tom's World Beer Tour.
This is World Beer Tour. So, once again, those of you watching us on Facebook, we appreciate that. Those of you listening as a podcast, we appreciate that. This episode comes out tomorrow morning at about 3 a.m. So if you want to sit by your iPhone and wait for it to show up about 3 a.m.,
a lot of people do that.
They just do that.
They just can't wait. I was talking to one of our buddies today, Cody, who was having a beer, and I saw him here yesterday. We were both having beer. I think he's here every single day, I think, as a matter of fact.
That could be I think that's called a problem.
I think it is. Only if he's here without me. I want to be back here.
That's a good point.
I was talking to him, and he said he's got podcasts from so many places he subscribes, and they're like backing up on him. It's like you're going to be constant. It's a pod.
He's a pod whore. He's a pod whore.
He's a pod whore.
Yeah.
What do people do? Because I don't listen to podcasts. So what do you do if you're getting backed up? You finally have to cut them loose and let them go, and you've never even listened to them?
Yeah, I was looking through mine. I've added a few because I listen to podcasts a lot on my way. I've got about a 35-minute commute each way, and I can get a good podcast. I can listen to half on the way to work and the other half on the way home. There's a few that are only about a half an hour, which is great, but they're all over the place. And every comedian on the planet has one. Yeah. Every comedian.
Yeah.
So, right now I'm listening to Bert Kreischer.
Kreischer is a first name or last name?
No, Bert is his first name. Those that like stand-up, he takes his shirt off a lot during his
Is he the guy who's a little heavy set?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did a Netflix thing that came out not too long ago where he needed a break. And to take a break, he rented a cabin outside of Malibu. It's not really heavy lifting, but he's in Malibu. And instead of relaxing, he invited his friends over to do the most ridiculous stuff. Like he brought a guy in to roll cigars, and he brought out like a 2-pound bag of weed and said, hey, could you do one of these? The guy rolled, I'm not kidding you, it was a torpedo. It was like 12 inches long. Cheech and Chong were embarrassed by this thing, dude. It was huge.
So, with that, you don't just bite off the end and spit it out. You bite off the end and you fire that
up.
And you swallow it. You have to. Okay, so you said all these comedians have podcasts.
Yeah, because it used to be you would go on The Tonight Show. You'd go on with Carson or you'd go on with Leno or whoever, and that would make you famous. Well, late-night television's kind of gone by the wayside. That's not where comedians get found
it's not
anymore.
the same thing. It still has some pull, but
it doesn't have the
same
cachet as a comedian as it used to. Now it's podcasts. So they go on each other's podcasts, and that's how they promote it. Joe Rogan being the king because he is a stand-up comedian, and he hosts shows and all that other stuff, and MMA. and he's got undoubtedly he's the king of podcasting, right? He's getting 1 million plus.
Okay,
downloads
so but
per episode.
I've listened to one of his, and what I can tell is that he might be a stand-up comedian, but that's not what he's doing on the show.
He's just talking.
He's doing hours at a time.
Yeah.
He may be funny at times, but he's not out there doing a routine or anything.
No.
These comedians that all have podcasts, are they actually funny, or more importantly, are they actually interesting?
Yeah, so you kind of have to pick and choose. Bert Kreischer is both interesting and funny. He does one with Bill Burr, the comedian. So
Yeah.
when you get Kreischer and Bill Burr together, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I listened to one with Whitney Cummings this week only because Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters was on. It was like a 2-hour episode.
And you're a big fan.
I'm a big Foo Fighters fan, and it was a good conversation. I don't know. I like her stand-up. I don't know that I could stand listening to her just talk for 2 hours.
I think it is interesting because a lot of them may have wonderful things to say, very interesting, or they're very funny, or an incredible past that they can share, or friends that they can turn you on to, and all that's great. Can they deliver interesting audio? Because even if you're doing the video, unless you're giving me some naked belly dance, well, which apparently that one comedian does.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
so good. He's hilarious.
But I mean, unless you're doing something in the video that's that exciting,
Right.
it has to be interesting audio still.
Yeah, well, and we've learned this. This has to be done as an audio product. The fact that there's cameras in here,
Yeah.
that's a bonus, right?
It's a secondary thing.
We're not
all the
really
way
looking
through.
at the cameras. We're looking at each other. We're having a conversation. That's how you want to do this.
Sometimes I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the beer, and I noticed that you're looking at. You put in an order here at
did.
this restaurant named 44 Stone.
I
Do you want to
know.
reach over and get it, or do you want? Here's a helping hand.
Yeah, look at
There you
the
go.
handsome bass player.
It's called a pub fritter.
Can I have a plate, please?
Oh God, you want everything.
All right.
Now he
thanks.
wants a
Could I have
plate.
a napkin set up? Thank you. So these are pub fritters. So those of you watching, I'll take one out here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this deliciousness of cheese and bacon, and Mark can explain more, but it's this little tiny nugget of
It's like the size of a
Deliciousness.
golf ball.
it is. And so
I think I could probably par the hole number 16.
mine would never
With
make it to
that,
the tee.
I'd have to freeze it first to get a good shot off the tee. But
What
I
I
think
like
could,
to do is I like to cut it in half. Okay, so you're gonna get, and they've been here for just.
You're so persnickety. Why don't you just reach up and grab that thing
No,
with
'cause
your
I wanna
hand
show-
and
I wanna-
eat
I
it
wanna
like a
show-
bitch, like you are?
I
Come
want
on.
to show. Wow, I want to show the inside. Look at the chewy,
Yeah.
gooey yumminess, and then there's this beer mustard dipping thing.
You gonna dip it in there a little
So
bit,
you dip it in there, and then
and then take your bite and. Oh, I thought you had a bite. I didn't know you'd throw it in there.
that's how I eat them. I eat half at a time.
No. Take a bite.
No, they're shooters.
Okay. Apparently, you and I don't eat the fritters the same way, which is
You
fine.
and I don't eat the same. I eat. You graze. You nibble.
I do nibble. I'm a nibbler.
The only time I've
I'm
seen
a
you
nibbler
eat
from
a
way
lot,
back.
we were here on St. Patrick's Day.
Mm-hmm.
After we taped a podcast at my house,
Yeah, let me come
we
over
then
here.
came here because it was the 10th anniversary of this place.
Uh-huh.
That was we're going to talk about. Your mic's not live yet. Trust me.
No.
We're going to talk about
We got some shame.
like
to
the
do.
one time I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and they came back and said, "I know you ordered some wings," and they go, "We're out of wings." I'm like, "You're out of the name of your place? You got to be."
I think
shitting
you
me."
closed down, or you at least start giving out free beer.
I mean, you're done. I mean, you're over it.
all right. So we were here, and you think I ate some decent amount of food that night?
What happened was you had shepherd's pie.
Oh no! It was a huge serving. I didn't even eat half of it.
But half of it is more than I've ever seen you eat because it got served in a canoe.
There was a huge difference between you and I. I have no idea how you burn up the calories that you consume. I've seen you eat a half-pound burger with fries and a monster salad. You go, that was a great lunch. Can't wait for tonight's dinner. And I'm like, honest to God, I'm eating like half burgers now. If I get a half-pound burger, I cut it in half. Can I have the rest of this to go?
Okay, you weigh
I'm
about
just-
$170.
I weigh more than that. I got the pandemic 15 going right now.
You weigh 185. Shocking.
I think I weighed 185 a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
Me and 190 are starting to become very close pals.
I weigh 255.
255, two in the double nickel, coming at you. But you're a big dude. You're a big man. You what do you come in at 6'3"? Is that it?
6'1".
Yeah.
6'3", 255 would be a lot better than 6'1", 255.
I got you. We are going to a couple things. We're just enjoying some beer right now. Beer is always the vehicle that brings us together to talk. And I'm having a really good one right. Let me have a sip of this thing. It's a pineapple flavored IPA.
Oh, that's your second one. Is that Snapper? What is that?
Yes, it is. But that's not the chosen
No,
beer.
no. And what do we end up doing with the
That's a
first two?
bobber.
Bobber,
That's
right?
a bobber.
Yeah.
That's not the chosen beer for our conversational beer. However, I do need to tell you that we're going to have I just want to give you a little teaser.
Okay.
because we need our conversational beer musical intro.
Yes.
And you told
An
me,
interlude.
if you will,
Sure.
you told me that let me see if I can get this thing.
That if you found a trombone for me to borrow,
Yes.
that I would spend a couple of weeks with it,
Yes.
get myself back into playing shape.
What do you do with your lips to
Do you
get
have
them
a trombone? Oh,
What do you
shit.
What do you do with your lips to get them in playing shape exactly?
Just like I know.
That's what you do?
Listen, he's not coming on the show.
So I'm gonna. If I come by the house, I might listen to the front door and hear you when they're going. You played trombone seriously when you were young. When did you stop playing?
In my early 20s.
Okay, been a long time.
Life moved on.
Couple of weeks and you feel like you'd be able to. You don't have to do anything extraordinary, but I want something sweet, catchy, bouncy. I want something nice.
Sure.
And this music will not be anything like the intro outro for Tom's World Beer Tour, a podcast story. It'll be very different.
All right.
This I put this together today in about an hour's time, and I did the drumming on this, but I'm bringing in a new drum set. It's going to be an actual that I'll be using the drumsticks. I got the drum pad and I got some electronic stuff I work with, but this is going to be the thing that we're going to ask you to put something behind and bring together. Just a nice little light thing. Can you picture? That's me on the keyboards also, and the bass. Right? Something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I was a jazz player. I mean, I've played improvised, 24 bar solos.
You had
Many,
no
many,
problem
many
with that at
times.
all, right?
No.
Okay.
No. I played at World Expo 86 in Canada, in Vancouver, in front of about 5,000 people.
Wow.
Didn't bother.
They were all in line for the latrines?
Yeah,
or?
something else. The beer garden.
This is so let's go back into it then, and we'll act like this is our actual finished product. So we'll just start hitting it at this time.
Okay.
Hey, man, it's been a nice podcast so far. What do you say we get into our conversational beer and welcome our guest to Tom's World Beer Tour?
I feel like I need to go change into a smoking jacket.
I'm going to bring his mic on at this time. The owner and proprietor of both 44 Canteen, where we were a few weeks back or months ago or whatever the hell it was, and here at 44 Stone, Mark Soltrop. Mark, thank you.
Fantastic. Nice to see you. He's
Thank
coming
you.
from another wing of the restaurant.
Yes.
If you're watching online, I don't know where this yellow background
This
you're
is
in.
the yellow room we have.
The yellow room. We're actually all in the same room.
Yeah, he's
over
2
here.
feet away from me.
Bring that mic closer to your mouth right
look.
now because we got a little bit of some groove going on. with
See,
the,
like, literally.
there you go.
How's
That's,
that?
that's perfect, man. That's
All right,
perfect.
go.
So I don't take down the phones over there or something else. That's all right. I think we'll be okay.
I don't know. But, yeah, all right.
Right here. I'll take this down.
All right.
Mark, thanks for letting us come out here and be a nuisance to you guys today. You got a great staff to do a hell of a job. When we get a hold of you and ask if we can come by here and do this today, and
And you called him at what time?
we gave him like 3 hours notice. I think
Right.
was it 3 hours notice?
I don't think it was that much.
Yeah.
Tell me the truth behind the scenes. Did somebody bitch at you and say, "What the fuck are you talking about? We're not
No,
taking."
no, actually, what happened was I came in, and Ashley was working. I pulled up, technology, pulled up schedule. Who's the manager on duty? I saw it was Ashley, so I came in, stopped in. I was like, Tom, let's do a show here. We can do it in the private if we need to. And she's like, well, actually, the group we had in the cellar room.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now.
Which is where we are. Is
Thus, all of this.
Yes, actually ended up increasing in size, so it got moved to the private dining room. So thus it freed up.
So on the other side of this wall is a bigger group.
Well, on the other side of this
It's-
wall is my office, and
it's
then
back-
on the other
yeah.
side of
I am
that wall.
so disorganized. Okay, I've been coming here for years.
Right.
I didn't even know this room existed.
Yeah.
I didn't get the secret
So-
word, the knock. I
No.
didn't get any of that shit.
So it's pretty funny because like I'll be sitting at my office and I have cameras, right? So I can see
Yeah,
in
there's
this
one right
room.
there, yeah.
So I'll be in my office and I hear the chairs hitting the wall or whatever. I'm like,
Right.
what's going on there? And I just pull it up and I can see in there. I'm like, what's going on?
And what do you find?
Well, usually it's like a server.
Have you
moving
ever found
table.
two servers getting it on? Yes. Yes, you have.
Sort of, yes.
Yes,
yes.
you have.
Sort of.
Yes.
Tell,
Oh,
wait.
I definitely
okay,
have.
hold that story. Hold that story. Introduce, if you would, our conversational beer. This is CBS.
Oh, son of a gun.
Did you spill a beer?
A little bit of beer on my mask. That'll be great for later.
Yeah.
That'll be
This
tasting
is
good
our
on the way
last
home.
our last taste of the CBS.
Oh.
because they no longer are making CBS.
This is from Founders, and they're available at many states across the nation,
yes,
right?
Yep, yep, yep.
And what is the CBS? It's the
It's Canadian breakfast stout. So
Correct.
it's whiskey. What is it? It's like syrup. Oh, gosh, Bro is much better at this. That's why I hire him.
yeah.
As I like to say, I'm the world's worst bartender that has owned 2 bars now, one for 5 years, one for 10 years. I still can't pour a beer myself.
Right.
So,
But this is,
but
I mean, it's a stout. It's aged in a
it's
bourbon
stout
barrel.
in bourbon barrel,
Which we love.
And since it's yeah, but these are the Canadian barrels for this one because you have KBS and CBS. So you have Kentucky breakfast stout and Canadian breakfast stout.
Okay, and Canadians get free health care, as we know, and they get free bourbon also,
Right,
and whiskey,
you know, it's
right?
all-
And
And
Yeah,
this only gets you a third drunk.
So
that's
yeah,
all right. This is 11.6%, which is why we have the little
Yeah.
tiny thimbles over here.
God, it
We're going
smells
in.
good too. Oh, that's
Yes.
good.
very
Wow.
delicious.
There's something
this is
about
dessert.
there's something about your day that takes a real serious turn when you take a sip of this. You're like, oh, so that's what tonight's going to be like.
Yeah.
Like everything has changed. Am I right?
Tonight is kind of special. The
That's-
beer we hold.
That is a classic jingle.
you like
Nice
that?
job. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you're a radio guy, so I'd expect it.
right,
Okay, so you caught some servers or what have you?
Oh, in this room actually.
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
on
it's
on this
okay.
table.
That end actually, but of course they know where the cameras are. This was like many years
Dude,
ago.
the camera is right on that end of the table.
Are you saying that like they gave you the like a shot or
So there was both of them no longer work here. I can say this. So
they weren't working here that night?
yeah,
Oh, they were working.
Working it.
yeah, we had some. It was a little interesting. So
Interesting.
yeah.
So how long did you wait?
Oh, no.
30 minutes before you decided to do something about it?
Oh, I
wasn't-
should
it was-
probably say
this was-
something.
This was after hours. So of course.
Because I swear I thought you were going to pick up the phone like,
No,
hey,
we
bring me
play
some
back.
pub fritters back here.
No,
I
no,
gotta-
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm not
We-
touching
yeah.
food right
No,
now.
no. This is like you find out like a day or two later. It's like it wasn't. It was, let's say it was a sous chef and a waitress, because
What do you mean, let's say that? Because
okay,
that's the truth?
Because that's the truth. That's why we're gonna say. it.
Because I wanted to ask you, like, does a dishwasher get lucky? Or you got to be a sous chef
No,
to get
no.
lucky?
You
gotta-
sous chef is the usual.
Bartenders, though.
Bartenders
Are usually.
bartenders, yes and no. It's kind of a mix.
Really?
I
Really?
mean, bartenders, it's just a different sort of
Okay, which is
dynamic.
more likely? Which is more likely?
Okay.
Female bartender, male server. Is server the right word? Is that what they like to use today?
Yeah.
Okay. Female bartender and a male server, or a male bartender and a female hostess.
Oh, it's definitely that.
That's the one. That's
the one.
That's the one.
You'll have to ask Ashley. And,
Oh,
yeah.
hey! I don't want to find out about family members. But a dishwasher.
Yeah.
They're just every night they're walking home smoking a J, wishing they could catch some action.
There you go.
Nothing.
You know how during the podcast
Yep.
something hits me and that becomes the title, right?
Yeah.
63 Jump Street, things like that. I'm thinking 44 Quickie right
Now,
now.
I like that. And by the way, are they quickies or did they occupy this room for a while?
Well, they were in here for a while, but of course they know where the camera is and the lights. And this was before. Now I can, with my current cameras, I can see in the dark.
Oh,
Night
God.
vision now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
because
night
they
vision.
turn the lights off. You're like, damn
Thus-
it, I should have got those cameras.
Thus, remember, like right where you're sitting. Remember, I had the meth head break in through the wall
Oh, yeah.
and
yeah,
come
yeah.
through that cabinet.
That's right.
And that was not, yeah.
Oh, my God.
He's got lots of stories. Didn't you catch some bullets one night?
We had the front window get blown out in a gunfight across.
Did a
Sorry,
bullet come into your office? You weren't
through
here.
Yeah. It went through the drywall, ended up hitting the wooden bookcase, and that's where it and then it fell down on
While
top
you
of-
were in there?
No, I had a waitress actually.
I'm sorry.
I had a waitress in the working. This is a waitress.
Okay, because we were
working.
talking about different things.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, yeah. No. This is she. She was a waitress in the private dining room, which is where that window got blown out.
Yeah.
And actually, I was talking about this story earlier today.
Oh, what a
Where it came
coincidence.
back up.
It did. We were talking. It was bulletproof glass talk. It's everyday conversation,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So yeah. So
I mean,
they-
that's pretty wild.
So yeah, it's been a few years, but
Has anyone ever got it on? And you've been in the restaurant industry for a long time.
Right.
Walk-in cooler. Walk-in cooler.
That's
you know,
no
that's
good for your-
always
that's not
that's
good for your
always
It's supposed to
junk.
delay the
That's-
Shangri-La, and so that's
that's
right.
always the story. But I never really had. Let's say
Shrinkage?
there's-
It delays the arrival, for God's sakes.
I've never really had that dynamic happen. I had, like I said, on in this room, and then there might have been an incident on the bar at one point that got on video.
Well, no good bar worth its
Are you-
salt.
are
so,
you-
I mean, come on.
This bar here or the other one?
Yes.
This
here.
bar here.
Yeah, we're much more
Never going to look
straight-laced.
at it the
This-
same
this-
way.
We're much more straight laced.
This is more of a traditional bar here, whereas Canteen is a concrete
You mean
bar.
it's missionary style on there? I don't know
No,
what
it's
you
just
mean.
wood. It's warm. It's wood. I mean, Canteen is concrete, for God's sakes.
Hey, man, one person's concrete is another person's wood.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I mean, I
Okay.
guess that big
All right, that
communal
was
table
wrong.
would be all right.
Right.
I mean, that was wrong.
Yeah.
It is. I've never truly worked in the restaurant industry like you guys. I did Chuck E. Cheese chicken back when I was a kid
Yeah.
for 6 months. But I mean, other than that, and we were friendly with each other, but there was nothing else going on. But I mean, once you see the movie Waiting, everything has changed, right?
Dude, you guys don't play that game, do you?
It
Have you seen a Batwing? Let me just ask right now. Have
Yeah,
you seen a
the Batwing.
Batwing in your back room?
I have not seen a bad.
All right, then that's all that matters.
But I mean, that movie, I'm guessing, did
very
catch
angry.
it did catch a lot of accuracy about the world
it
of working
did.
in a restaurant.
Shenanigans.
It did. Yeah. How many?
It was
flair?
based after
How many
Bennigan's.
pieces of flair you got? No?
I
Yeah.
know, which, yeah, I
what
love
what about like you're ready to close down the restaurant because these guys are dying to clean it,
Right.
right? And you haven't had an order in 30 minutes. What is it like when you know you have to serve? 4 people walk in 15 minutes before you're
Oh, yeah.
supposed to stop and close down the kitchen, and they order. How pissed off can a kitchen get? And be honest with us.
They get upset, but that's what I pay them for. It's not like they're getting. They stay later, they get paid later.
That's
But
true.
I mean, they definitely are like, they're waiting for that, and then you're like, oh, actually, the worst though is. The worst is the server who actually has that section because even though once the food gets out, the kitchen will be done.
Sure.
But the server's like, oh, great, how many freaking drinks am I going
That's
to have to
right.
end up bringing these
Yeah.
guys?
And
So-
it's a
Yeah.
slow eater, and they
Yeah,
order an appetizer, and then they want to wait, and they want to have a conversation.
Because generally the server's really good about, hey, the kitchen's closing, just so you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Kitchen's closing, so I need to get everything in.
So let's get it in,
before-
and then you guys order your drinks,
Yeah.
dessert. Let's get out of here with that thing. By the way, whenever I have a server tell me that their shift is finishing and they need to wrap up, like their whatever tab I've got going, I have never been upset, even if it's the end of the night. But they're always so like terrified, which tells me there must be a lot of assholes out there that give them crap. I mean, I have servers come up, not at your place, but at other places where they come and they go, I gotta tell you, and I'm like, I know it's coming, and they're like, I'm supposed to leave now. I'm like, that's fine. Run my billings and have somebody else start a new one. You've been great, Sally or whoever you are, and
Right.
that's. I'll give you
Send
a
over
tip.
the other winch. I'm good. Let's
Right.
go.
Keep
Yeah.
it coming. I don't mind that at all. And even if it was the end of the night and they
Right.
said they got to close out, I'd be like, okay, there must be a lot of assholes that really get pissed off when they're asked to pay a tab when they're not finished with their eating and drinking.
I would say that they're just, we every once in a while we get some. I think also is like the big thing is as the owner that they know if they pressure the guest as the owner, you're going to be like, the hell are you doing?
right.
You're
Right.
like, I want these people to stay and spend their money.
Right. Because if
But-
they close out, maybe they don't order another drink
Well, probably to some extent, but
or dessert or whatever the hell it is.
just making the guest feel unwelcome, which is
Right.
Yeah.
And I think most people are cognizant of that when they come into a restaurant late.
right.
They're hoping maybe the kitchen's open. Maybe it's a limited menu.
Right.
Maybe they just want to come in and get a little
My thing is,
dessert.
why do people go to a restaurant and want to be treated like kings and queens? It's like you're not. You're a regular person, but tonight you don't have to go to the store. Hell, you don't even have to figure out what to cook. Go to the store, prepare it, get it fully cooked, eat, and then clean everything up. You're gonna sit back and have somebody do it for you, and you got like 35 items in front of you can order. That's the goodness. And if somebody says they got to wrap up their shift early, pay them and open another tab.
And on that end too is like obviously is like there's a lot of people that have never worked in the industry, hospitality industry, and so when they come in, they're like they expect perfection, And I'm like, were you perfect at your job today?
Yeah, no kidding.
Let me talk to your boss and find out. how
Well,
your
and my
day
favorite
went."
is when they yell at a server and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
something comes bad out of the
And-
kitchen.
or-
You're like, listen, this person really just brought it here for God's sakes.
Well,
I mean,
and
come
let's
on.
face it, like every job is a job, and so it's like, oh, this is being in the hospitality or a server, whatever it's so in some eyes are viewed as a lesser profession or a job, but it's one of those things that I'm like, every job is just a job. Somebody's paying you to do something. Like
Right.
that's what it's all about. It doesn't
Right.
matter if you're in real estate or insurance agent
But
or
I would say on the flip side, once again, if you're in this industry, you might have had the shittiest day already this morning
Right.
before you came in for your dinner shift. When you walk in the door, you kind of got to let that stuff
oh,
go.
absolutely.
Because if
And-
you're going to come to the table and I got to watch you like,
Right. And
then
that's
what's the point?
absolutely, and that's like a big thing for me is like, look, we want people that show up to feel like we want them here,
Right.
and to try to get them to understand, like, look, their paycheck is based off of your performance, as like how you treat them, and you have the biggest. It's the you can control your paycheck.
Well,
How
tips,
do
it
you
goes back
how do
to
you,
ensure
exactly.
prompt service, right?
Absolutely,
No,
exactly.
and I know, and we talk about hospitality, which,
Yeah.
I'm not in that industry,
Right.
and what you guys do is amazing. It's like, to me, it's one step below nursing. Nursing is like life and death, and the things they do are amazing. Right below that are waiting on people that are hungry and really have a shitty attitude.
I might.
Yeah.
There are days where I flip
Yeah.
that.
Okay, well, and that may be true, but I want to say this. I actually, and don't get this wrong, I actually look forward to being around somebody when they get bitchy at a restaurant, because the entertainment value is amazing. Because I think they're so out of place to get upset. The potato wasn't as hot as I usually like it. I'm like, oh, really? What about your first or your fourth husband? Were they as hot as you usually like them
Once
too?
again, go back and watch the movie Waiting.
I know. And,
Careful what you ask for.
And I mean, and you should be able to put in a complaint that's valid with any
Absolutely.
restaurant. I don't care if it's
Yep.
McDonald's or it's a freaking 5-star
Right.
Firestone
Yep.
thing. You
Absolutely.
should be able to put in a complaint when it's time. But you don't go, well, I'll tell you what. It's like, is that how you talk to everyone around you? Or do you just wait for the chance to take it out on a server? Like, why? You think server means they're your servant and they should just be sitting there? Why do people got to act like so? If somebody's going to bitch about it at a restaurant, please let it be less often than more often, but let me be there. I want to witness it. Because what I do is, first of all, I'm entertained. I can't believe anybody is so full of shit to be doing this to anybody. But I want to be entertained. And then I start throwing out little, I'll do anything. Anything at all. Is that what you think? I'll say anything to get the attention of the person bitching. And they look over and I'm like, what? What happened? I don't know what happened. And then what I do also is I tip that server at least double because they're putting up with that shit from
when
somebody
you got
else.
a floor show, it's great.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Exactly.
I'll take it. It's funny when either you've been in this industry or you with somebody who's been in this industry. For me to send something back, it has to be like at Mark's restaurant. There's this thing about eggs at 44 Canteen, right?
Absolutely.
And it drives us all crazy.
Wait, is it the thing about eggs or it's the thing about Tom Bowman?
No.
No,
It's
I'm quality control about over easy eggs.
I'm on the same page with Tom
Right.
on eggs.
Okay,
I'm
all
like,
right.
that's called a soft fried egg for a
Exactly.
reason. On the menu, I'm like, hey, look, guys, I concede. I don't take your easy, like over easy, whatever. It's soft fried. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's got to be soft though.
I want the yolk.
What is?
I want the
tell
yolk.
me what a soft
And-
fry. What is it supposed to be?
So it needs to still be soft.
Yeah.
But
There's
you
yolk.
want the white all set, and then there still needs to
Okay,
be
there's
yolk.
no runny in the white because that
No.
really
No,
freaks
oh
people
no, there's
out.
no runny in the white.
No
Okay.
runny
No
white,
runny
but
white.
there's yolk, and so that when you put the bun on top of the burger, for
Which-
instance, then you get the oozing.
You want an ooze.
Yeah.
You want an
You want
ooze.
the ooze. And so I'll give you a little, you're going to, the next upcoming burger of the month, which we're going to probably not, even though
It doesn't start
the month-
tomorrow.
it's not going to start tomorrow. It's going to start.
April Fools. There's no burger of the
Yeah.
month.
No shit. That
That
really.
is April Fool's right there.
What is it going to be?
It's going to be next week. It's going to be a fried bologna double onion smash burger.
Wait.
Monster. monster.
And there's fried bologna.
So-
There's 2 patties.
2 smashed patties
Yep.
with yellow mustard, shaved onions,
In-N-Out style.
a slice of Munster cheese, a slice of cheddar cheese, and a piece of fried bologna, begging for a fried egg.
Dude, I'm in.
On brioche with some mayonnaise, a little
I'm in.
arugula, and some of our house-made pickles.
So tell me about the fried bologna. Did you eat it as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody did,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
Big time.
absolutely.
Fried bologna was better than
And-
regular bologna. We're
Well,
all in agreement there.
Yeah.
You know you got to do the X in the middle of the bologna before you put it in the pan so you don't get that.
Wait a
Well,
second. You did an
dome.
X in the middle?
Yeah, because then you don't get the dome.
No.
No, you hash the outside.
You hash the outside.
You what?
You gotta hash the outside.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell you're saying.
Oh God, where'd you grow
Oh,
up? Where'd you grow up?
jeez.
California?
Yes.
X in the middle.
Oh,
Yes.
my
X
God.
marks the spot. No. You
Oh,
hash
no.
the outside.
What do you mean hash
You
the
hash
So
outside?
you
the
take
outside.
3 marks on the outside, and so that when it doesn't,
It'll lay flat.
it'll lay flat.
It'll lay flat, and it'll just kind of groove.
You'll
in.
see. You'll see next
Oh,
week.
no, I believe you.
You're gonna start hashing the
Yeah.
outside.
Hash the
Let me
outside.
ask you this. Because you're doing
I know a
bologna-
girl once who hashed the outside. Go on.
quarter-inch thick slice.
He's trying. He's like, I
I don't have anything.
I'm not sure what that means.
So that's a quarter-inch slice of bologna, by the way.
Oh, that
Beef
sounds
bologna.
amazing.
Beef
Let me
bologna.
ask
bologna.
beef bologna.
Bologna.
It's not lips and ass. It's
Nope.
true
Yeah.
beef bologna. Let me ask you this. Is there the opportunity for someone who may know someone to possibly get an old school fried bologna sandwich during the time frame of which bologna is being served in said restaurant?
You want to go off the menu and you want to get a secretive order?
I'm
in?
saying in honor of In-N-Out, because there's a secret menu in In-N-Out. I'm
Right.
just saying if somebody knew somebody,
Right.
could that somebody perhaps ask the other somebody?
He's not. He's grunting. He's grunting.
I'll
Don't
have
get
to
the
think.
bull pissed off.
No, I can't say nothing's impossible. you know,
Right.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so we
Just be sure to take care of your server.
Right.
Did I mention
Right.
I'm doing brisket at my house over Memorial Day? And you live close to my
nice,
house. Yeah, okay,
right,
all right,
yeah.
see you there.
If you were to have bologna fried on a sandwich, do you want it browned or do you want it blackened? Go.
Browned.
Brown.
To me, a bologna is like going to be like a hot dog. Burn the bitch. I love it. I love it.
No, hot
love
dog needs to be blackened.
So you
That's
would
my
agree
wife.
with that?
That's Marcia. That's my wife.
Yeah.
Blackened. Got to be blackened.
I mean, and I'll eat it if it's not. But if all you did was get it sweating, really, come on, it's the best you can do.
If I do like a big giant Sam's Club thing of ballpark franks,
Yeah.
I'll probably blacken 2/3 of them
And then the
kids,
others are for the kids.
because the kids won't eat them.
Yeah, kids won't
Right
touch them.
there you go.
They get a black mark on it and they won't do it. And I'm like,
kids are dumb.
oh, did I burn one? I guess I'll have that. I'm so
right.
sorry.
Kids are dumb.
And that's the thing that I do. Well, that's an interesting burger for the month. Let's talk about beer a little bit and about how you select beer, because it is Tom's World Beer Tour.
Right.
This is
so good.
11.6. What is this glass? 5 ounces?
Yes. 5 ounce. Yep.
Could you imagine?
What is
having a
that? What
pint
is
of
that?
This?
What would that be if this was a 12-ounce beer? Not, I mean, like, how much alcohol am I getting in a 5-ounce serving of this? If it was a 12-ounce beer can, would that be like a 7% beer or something?
Oh, it'd be more than that.
Be way more than
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
More than that?
Yeah.
It'd still be 11%. You just
No.
you'd have that much more.
11.6 diluted from 5 ounces up to 12. So add 7 ounces
Oh,
into that. What
gotcha.
happens to that?
I guess.
Yeah.
It's
Here's how I look at it.
yeah.
If you gave me a pint of this exact beer, how many?
So
Yeah.
when we first opened, this is Dave and I. Of course, we were both consumed much alcoholic beverages.
Well,
we're
yeah.
like, you know what? Why do all these places have different glassware sizes? We're going to pour every beer in a pint. So
yeah, I remember those days, by the way.
yes. So
I
we-
can tell you, I have had an 11% beer in a pint glass
Yeah.
at one of your establishments.
And so after we had one of our patrons who was a regular, and after he drank 3, I think it was the Beast from Avery.
Oh my
I think
God.
he drank 3 pints of the Beast, which 3 beers, right?
Right, that's what
Sure.
it feels like.
Sure,
But
officer, I only
then-
had 3.
But then he passed out at the bar, and we're like, okay, might need to change our.
Well,
lineup
and
of
it
this.
is an interesting piece, which is that if you're used to drinking beers 12 ounce, and you go to a place where they're serving
we
16 ounce.
We do imperial pints.
That's
you know,
true.
16 ounce, so.
Ooh,
So
the
if you do
Imperial.
that,
Yeah.
you think I had 3 beers. And it's like, no.
No.
You had actually, well, it winds up being 4 beers.
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
it was. So you had 4. And if you were drinking 7, 8, 9%, it's like, holy mackerel.
And the Beast is like, we're talking like, I think it's like 18%.
Oh, yeah. Is that a triple IPA or something?
No, it's dark. It's
It's a hardcore stout.
Oh, it's yeah. I can't remember. We can
Wow.
Google that.
That's
But I mean, it's like
amazing.
all of the beers that we really like these
But-
days. So like the Goose Island Stout, that's bourbon barreled.
Right.
The CBS bourbon barreled.
And
There's
you really
a theme here.
It's not just you're not just pouring it off to keep yourself in check, which is a good thing to do it. It's also a sipping beer.
Yeah, this is not a big.
You're not coming around home plate at a softball game and going, okay, boys, throw me another one of those and pounding
Dude, I
it.
can't do
Doesn't-
that with IPAs for God's sake.
Yeah, understood. But how do you, when it comes to choosing the beers, how do you pick these things?
I really rely on Bro at this point. When we first did all our pickings our selections were done by Dave, my former business partner.
Yeah.
Who was definitely a savant when it came to beer. He could tell you what every beer, the ABV, all those sorts of things. So here at Stone, we rely on my bar manager, Bro, and then at downtown.
Did you say your bar manager, bro?
Yep.
Not your bro, the bar manager.
No. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Just checking.
Yeah, and then downtown, AB is my bar manager down there.
We love AB.
But obviously as Bro, it's all about, there's certain beers, like if I picked, I get upset when I see them on tap. I'm like, that's a terrible beer. Why did we buy that? And then that beer was sold really well. I'm like,
Stay in your lane.
I
Stay in
guess
your
it's
lane,
all
pal.
right. Yeah, stay
Stay
exactly.
in your lane. Just
Well,
exactly.
there's
It's just like
Just
they
be
tell
the owner.
They tell they tell you, if you're a chef, you shouldn't open a place that only serves food you like. That's the worst thing you can do.
Right.
So it's, in many ways, Bro has his styles he likes. He's big into Belgians and stuff. So we usually will have some more Belgian options here
Right.
than we do downtown. But it's and we try to mix it up between styles and seasonality. Obviously people come in the middle of summer and they'll want all of a sudden a stout, and they might be upset. It's like, sorry, you want a stout? We got it in a can. We got
Dude,
a bottle.
It's 112
but
outside,
it's
for God's
exactly.
sakes.
It's
Calm
like
down.
so we try to keep some seasonality with
And it's
it.
really tough, too, with the public because they'll tell you they want something, and then when you put them to the test,
Oh,
they actually
absolutely.
won't spend the money on it. And likewise, they'll buy things you never thought that they would. So,
Yeah.
and the difference between having 12, 24 taps or whatever it might be at a restaurant, they walk in, things look interesting, and they'll enjoy a pint
Right.
of one or of another.
Yeah.
They'll never buy that at a store.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Never. Because they see
Yeah.
themselves buying it might be a 4-pack of pint cans, and they're like,
Well,
not going to do it.
The thing with craft beer is you get sticker shock to some degree. You come here and you pour off, an imperial pint. This is
Right.
great. You pay a certain amount of money for it. You expect that.
Right.
Then you go, well, I'm going to go get that in the grocery store. And you walk into any grocery store. First of all, most of the time they're in 4-packs.
Yeah, the
And
good
they're-
stuff.
And they're like $14, $15, $16, $18.
Right.
And you're like, what? No, I'm going to buy this Natty Light over here for $12.
Which, by the way,
$100.
It's approximately $14 for 30 cans of Natty Light.
Correct.
So I can see how some people will say on the float trip this weekend we're a Natty Light gang.
I mean, a
Right?
float trip. If you're bringing Imperial Stout on a float trip,
Well,
what's wrong with you?
And the other thing too is like with Natty Light on a float trip or a certain type of party, you get up after those parties, and we've had some in our house. You walk around and start emptying out those beer cans, and you're like, how many half beers did everyone drink?
Because you get full.
Oh yeah.
No, they don't get full. No, they get drunk and they leave it sitting somewhere, and they walk over and they're like,
Hey.
I do need another beer. Yeah, thank you. I don't know what
This
happened
is
to
why
mine.
on a hot day by the grill or a float trip or whatever, I'm drinking Natter Days. I make no bones about it. I can drink it all day,
It works
every
for you?
day. It's
And there's-
totally fine.
There's not a problem.
It's just alcoholic flavored water. That's what I'm looking for on a really hot summer day.
That's as I like to say, that's what you drink to stay hydrated. So
Correct. What's
Yeah.
like, or
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
drink
yeah,
whiskey
yeah.
and water. The water is just there to
Right.
hydrate me.
Yeah.
Give me a double Jack and water tall.
Absolutely.
The water's for hydration.
when you're not here working on food or watching everybody else work on food, because you're not the chef in the kitchen anymore.
No.
But
Ideally, I'm not.
you do
That's
consider
it.
yourself a chef.
You own the title.
yeah.
You're still chef though.
Yeah.
It's
You're
still on my
referred to
business card.
Everybody that talks about you on your staff, if I'm at the other restaurant or I'm here and I go, hey, have you guys seen Mark? No, chef's not here.
Right.
You've earned the title.
Yeah.
You're like a president. Once
I
you've been
watched-
president, that's it.
I watched a couple episodes today with someone's prompting of Hell's Kitchen. And
Oh,
I know
why?
what it is,
What a horrible show.
but I've never really watched it. So I watched it a couple times to get into it. And I was like, when you were coming up, did you ever go through anything like somebody's attitude? Like, was it Ramsay? Is that his name?
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay.
I
Gordon
mean,
Ramsay?
That's obviously it, but I definitely, I mean, not to that extent.
But there's attitudes.
But absolutely, absolutely, yeah. I mean, and it's a lot. But now, guess what? Nowadays, I can't imagine anyone coming up through the system like that because you can
can't.
see it all these big chefs, and guess what? They all these big names from back in the day, and they were big network stars, and then they're like, oh, he treated us like shit, and he took our tips.
Yeah.
And
then it all goes downhill.
And they you have you have all these places that end up so, and I mean, it's a different culture now for sure. It's
it's all a kinder, gentler world, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means you can't say what you want to say. Obviously, there would be times in the kitchen you got to say something that's going to piss
absolutely.
off or scare somebody. But I never realized that it could be like that. I didn't know what a chef did, and then I'm like, so the chef is really running the whole kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, and when I was younger and before I was an owner, I had a much more stern demeanor in the kitchen. I mean, I don't know what our laws.
Do you want to say fuck?
Well, I don't want to say fuck, but actually shit. But so one of my favorite.
Well, you can't say shit. You can say fuck, but you can't say shit.
So one of my favorite things I just came up with on the spur of the moment was when I was the original chef at Blue Restaurant.
Okay, all right.
Wine bar, right? And my chef here worked for me at the time, who I taught to a lot of things, and he can do a lot of things better than I can now.
Right,
so,
right.
But anyway, so I'm in the kitchen, and they've got the photographer, and it's our soft opening, and and it's soft, you know, and I'm like, we're just dying, we're floundering, it's just like we're doing a terrible job.
Okay, all right.
You're in the weeds.
Let's
In the weeds.
hit this for everybody. I don't know who understands this
Right.
and who doesn't, but a soft opening is when we're going to allow people in there, like our friends. It's your mom, it's your sister-in-law. We're bringing them in. You don't get to order off a full menu. Sometimes we'll let you order off of 5 things, or we just bring you some samples. And the kitchen is supposed to be operating as if you're open to the public,
Right.
which you're not yet.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
And a lot of times, sometimes they'll be free, sometimes they'll be discounted, all those sorts of things, the prices. So anyway, we're floundering, and there's a photographer, and I'm at this time.
You let a photographer in on a.
It was
soft
the owners.
open?
The owners.
The owners did, not him. The owners.
So, and at this
Jesus.
time, I'm known to be an intense person in the kitchen at this point.
Okay, all right.
So and I'm just, and so one of my favorite famous, I'm just losing my shit, and I'm like, I could shit eggs quicker than this, you know, and I was like, oh, that was a good one. I
love it.
Oh, I love that
I
one.
may use that the next
and
time.
so I'm just
gonna
losing my crap.
I'm like, I could shit eggs quicker than this.
Is that a soft fried
Because
egg?
it was any egg. I couldn't get any egg out the window.
It's gonna be
eggs. It's like, how long does it take to cook
It's
an
not
egg?
going to be hard boiled. It's going to be
Yeah.
soft. It's going to be soft. I could shit eggs quicker than this.
That's right. That was one of my best lines.
Yeah.
That's
Well, it's
hysterical.
crazy. So
God.
here's the
Yeah.
problem with that ridiculous show, this Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
That a chef being that way, not uncommon.
Right.
Ridiculous bozo cooks.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
not going to
yeah, yeah.
happen. They go and they find the worst short order, never been around the
Right.
kitchen for effect.
Well, let me tell you though. I saw
on.
one of them was from Missouri, and
Well,
when I
there you
saw
go.
that
There's
on the
your problem.
credits on the way out, and I was like, huh. Her name's Christina. I don't know anything about the show. I know everybody else listening is like, "Are you kidding me? You've never watched?" I've never watched it.
It's
I don't
awful.
watch all the kinds of crap on TV. So, I jump over to my computer and I look up Christina, chef, whatever, Ramsay. What is his name again?
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. I type in a couple of things. She's from St. Louis. She won that season, which I didn't know. She went on to be a senior sous chef.
Sure.
At one place. She was, and then making, I don't know what she was making then, but immediately became a top chef, $250,000 a year.
Sure.
And now she's overseeing 2 of his restaurants. So, yes, they may find some bozos, but apparently some of them are the real thing. And
I don't-
she's
I
out there
never
now.
watch
She's
it.
like 39
If
years
you
old.
want a
I hardly
really
ever
good,
watch it
I don't. I
anymore.
can't.
Yeah.
It's Fox and it's
Right. I
ridiculous.
haven't watched it in years.
If you want to watch a really good show about chefs, Top Chef
Right.
on Bravo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are phenomenal chefs. They
Yeah.
put them through some
Oh, they
ridiculous
do. Yeah, I
things,
agree. Yeah.
but the creativeness and all. And actually, I'll tell you a show
But
right
Top
now.
Chef is not the same. These guys, is it different? in
No,
the-
it's sort of it's a competition. It's the same thing.
well, not exactly. I mean, somebody can make a dish, but it's another thing to be able to work in a restaurant kitchen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but all the chefs that are on Top Chef have pedigrees.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
All right.
They've all
I haven't
been,
watched these, so I'm only
Yeah,
asking.
so that one, and then there's another one that I actually love even more now. It's on True TV. It's called Fast Foodies. Have you seen?
Oh
this?
yeah. Oh, I watched that. Oh yeah.
That's a brilliant.
Which
brilliant
speaking
show.
which, I know at least one of those chefs is from Top Chef.
The chick.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
She
the
won a
chick?
she
Did
won
you
a
say
season.
the chick?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's
Yeah.
a bunch of dudes, and then we have
There's
a
2
chick.
dudes and a chick, and actually, one of the dudes was also on.
Oh,
Top
really?
Chef, Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know her name? She has a name. She's
Kristen.
a person.
Her name is Kristen.
Thank you.
And she's a phenomenal
Tom.
chef.
She's a
Yeah.
person.
She is.
But-
But this show is great. So they bring in celebrities who bring in their favorite fast
Right.
food, and it's in 2 parts. The first part, they have to copycat it. So last night, we watched 2 of the guys from that Tacoma FD show and Super Troopers and all that
Right.
kind of
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Those
yeah,
guys.
yeah. Right.
And they brought in Kentucky Fried Chicken, a bucket
Nice.
of Kentucky
Right.
Fried Chicken. So they
There's
had to-
nothing wrong with that.
No,
Right.
no. That's
Oh,
the whole
no.
point of this show. Good chefs love fast food. They just do.
Right.
They just do. And so they had to copycat it. And then the second round, they get to do whatever they want that has the essence.
Inspiration.
Correct.
Sort of.
They've
yeah.
done. They did the McDonald's
Filet-O-fish,
filet
yeah.
of fish already.
They did Wendy's hot chicken
They
sandwich.
did. They did the crunchy gordita.
Oh
Taco
yeah,
Bell.
that's right. Yeah.
Good stuff
Yeah,
all the way
yeah.
through.
So it's a good show. Yeah.
Now, I think talking to you about what goes on in the kitchens and learning, I'm having trouble picturing you being that guy back in the kitchen back in the day.
I
Oh,
made
no,
a
I
lot
can
of.
see
You
it.
said you were
I made a
intense.
lot of waitresses cry. I mean,
Oh, is this back to the other thing? With the,
I made a lot.
Listen, for those of you
No.
listening as a podcast, if you're listening
We're
as
not
a
going back all the way to the beginning.
yeah.
well, I don't know. I made
for
a lot
those of you listening
on this table. I made a lot of
No,
waitresses
That's right.
cry.
Oh wow! Congratulations. If you're listening as a podcast, he sounds very jovial. He's got a great voice. He sounds nice.
Yeah, but I've never seen you intense, and I'm having trouble picturing you.
But
have-
here's the point. Look, for those of you that are watching this as a video,
Yeah.
Mark, look close into that camera. Give me a mean face.
he can't do it while we're talking. He can't do it.
He
no.
can't.
No.
It's harder with a beer in my hand.
So the eggs thing, when that saying
Right.
that I will never forget, I
Right.
can shit eggs quicker than this. What was the problem? What was
They
going
just
on?
I was taking forever to get the food, and of course I know how long it should take. But and one of my favorite lines, which I've used here back when I worked,
Yeah.
was okay. I can come back there and I can do that job. If I come back there and I do that job, that makes you irrelevant. So why the hell are you here? Get the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
So-
Yeah, and when you
so-
first opened 44 Stone, you were in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
I every lunch I worked the grill and the fryer, and then every night I would saute, and then finally Dave moved me because Dave came back and he's like, dude, if you keep doing this, they're never gonna fucking learn and they're never gonna step up.
And he was your partner, and
He was
goes,
my
you gotta
partner.
get out of
He's
here.
like, dude, you just move to the other side of the line and you expo.
Yeah.
I will tell you this.
tell
I,
him,
s-
I mean,
I see a
so.
difference in your demeanor when that change came about, when you moved out
Oh,
front.
yeah.
I didn't know it was intense as much as I thought it was just
Oh,
that
yeah.
you were tired.
Oh, I was tired too. I worked a lot.
Yeah.
And-
But if
Yeah.
you're an executive chef or you're the owner,
right.
Expo is where you want to be. Expo for those
You
that
can
don't
see
understand.
everything.
Yeah,
I
Expo
mean-
for those who've never been in the restaurant business.
I've never
is
been.
You're on the other side of the kitchen itself,
Right.
where the food comes through, and you're the last one to see it and touch it
Before a server
finalize
takes it.
before
Right.
it goes out.
Which is what Gordon Ramsay does.
Yeah,
He
all good
he's
chefs do
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Honest to God, I never knew that's what expo meant. I seriously never meant.
Yeah,
So you guys are teaching me a lot tonight.
So you call it out in the different stations, and they're like, and it's always one of those things. And but
Well, let's mention then you have, by the way, 44 Stone, and I'm not trying to sell your place, but it is interesting in that you have a bar area that literally bleeds right into the dining room.
Right.
In multiple directions, right into the dining room. But that's all held off. We're in your cellar room, which holds about 18, 20, something like that. And
or 2 servers.
Yeah, it's done that before. Were there ever any full-on like 5, 6, 7, 8 servers? No, we won't get into that.
Wait,
none of those.
When were you serving the buffet?
Yeah. Oh. Welcome up, boys. Over here we have your private dining area, but that's for larger groups, like up to 50.
Yep.
And you keep that only for private dining, unless it's a special like Mother's Day or something.
Well,
right?
we'll use it for overflow depending on if we don't have it booked out for something.
But you have another interesting thing. So with all that I just named, you also have seating that goes on an open-air kitchen side.
Yes.
So if you like the idea of, I don't want to be all prim and proper, you can sit over there and you can hear guys calling out and girls calling out orders and what's going on, like is the whatever up.
And we never sit on that side.
I've been over there for parties before.
Yeah,
we've put like 16, 28 people over there.
I never ever sit on that. I need to go sit on that side.
Do you tell them like be careful with your language, or don't mention last night on the cellar room table, or?
I mean, we try, but I'll say also when I worked the line, I had the worst mouth of anyone in the kitchen. Like I was a very bad example.
Yeah.
But your other restaurant has a full-blown open kitchen as well.
Yeah, I'll take another. We're getting an offer by one of our servers right here. Yeah. Snapper with pineapple.
Snapper.
There you go.
So I there it was very conscious. Like, hey guys, we're there. It's obviously where we're in front of people. Right. And back when I was intense, I made a small child cry with one of my former sous chefs because I was losing my crap on him. And I was like,
don't bring your kids to a nice restaurant.
Take
them to McDonald's.
So it was like always one of those famous things. One of my former sous chefs, and I was just like, dude, you're driving me up the wall.
So you
and
let
he
him
did
have it.
something really super stupid. And I was like, and so I'm losing it. I'm yelling at him.
Yeah.
And I'm being braiding. And I was over. I mean, I'm not saying these things are things that I did that I should have done.
No. But you're admittedly it happened, and
I admitted, and they're like, and you hear the little kid going, "Why is the big man making the little man yelling at the little man?" And the kid's in like tears. And that was one of those when Dave was my business partner. And Dave's like, "I'll take care of this." Like, you're like, "Yeah, get this."
Why is the big man
want some ice cream?
Yelling at the little man? Well, understood. That can happen. Personally, I like the atmosphere. Now, your kitchen at your other restaurant is fully open.
Yes.
All the time. Right. But it's not quite the same thing. Because here you go into a separate room where it's now just you and the kitchen staff, separated by a little thin piece of plexiglass.
Right.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it can be, for me, I've always found it to be lively, moving, and
it's
I
loud.
like that. I like it loud.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of, especially older guests, they can't hear because it's so much background sound. Like they can't talk. And like my dad hated that room. He's like, "Don't put me in that room because I can't."
Yeah.
He is like, I can't hear a thing. All I hear is
banging. I love a room like that. I want to watch an open kitchen. I love being able to watch. I mean, my first experience at Canteen, I've told this story to some people, is we sat really right against the rail, which is the open kitchen, and I watched somebody on your staff put like 1,000 ingredients into a 5-gallon bucket diligently, and then we said, "What are you making?" "Well, this is the dressing for the Caesar salad," which isn't on the menu anymore.
Right.
But anyways.
Well, he really lets you have it, doesn't he?
And I just thought, if that's the kind of effort that's going into a dressing, what's the rest of this place like?
It's an obvious thing. I mean, it really is. I don't have any idea how the prep works with you guys. You get in there early, you start working on the stuff, you start serving lunch, and then it goes
what time are people
dinner.
rolling in on an average day?
8 o'clock in the morning.
And you open for lunch?
Open at 11.
Right.
Yep.
So you're rolling
except for
8.
on Saturday. Saturday we open at 10 for brunch, and they roll in at 7.
You roll in like the first person unlocks the door at 8 a.m. and you're serving a meal at 11.
Mm-hmm. That's insane.
It is.
And once again, this is something else that whether you're in Texas or Wisconsin or California, wherever you're listening to this podcast, this is happening in your community too. Any great local restaurant is going through this. This is why we have Mark on. Granted, we're not in California, Wisconsin, all these places.
No, but it's an example of what everyone's going through. I'll tell you something,
That's
Mark.
why you eat local.
And
Go local.
You know what the number of events I've been involved with over the years that involve cooking, whether it's a barbecue deal, and it's not. I don't do barbecue competitions on the circuit sort of thing. I never will because I don't enjoy them. But I do enjoy fundraising activities where they say, let's go out today and cook wings for 500 or 1,000, 1,500 people. And those are fun. Dude, I know what it's like to do the prep, get it ready, and then begin serving. And when that clock is ticking, and most of our events, we start serving about probably noon. You're watching it ticking toward noon. You're like, go. And then the last things you need, we need serving utensils. We got our plates out here. We've got to have the chafing dishes ready to go. Get the first order of wings or pork steaks or burritos or whatever it is out here.
Right.
And you start putting them out there. Dude, it's a lot of pressure. And I'll start some of those mornings at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are prepped and ready and stationed for it. But to open a building at 8 a.m. and serve the food most restaurants can serve by 11 a.m. for lunch is amazing.
Let me just remind people, find your local places, locally owned. I mean, chains do the same thing, right? They got to come in early too. But once again, find the restaurants like Mark's. Cheers, everybody. This is a Snapper IPA, pineapple
Cheers.
IPA.
And
Cheers.
an additional, if you will. I'll cheers from across the room.
Cheers.
We really are all in the same room. By
Yeah,
the way.
exactly. I told you I can take my beer and go right across like this. Look, and there's look, it's in Mark's shop.
So you said find your local place.
Find your local place that is buying local, like you buy local.
I do.
Right?
Sometimes,
There are some things that don't show up on your menus during the
Right.
time of year because you want to be local.
Yep.
Find the person that's doing what Mark's doing. Buying local, changing the menu up. You know, he's not a chain. There's not a lot coming out of a bag. There's probably some things that have to come out of a bag.
Right.
We understand that. But support those people. Go out, especially now. We're coming out of this ridiculous pandemic. Wherever you are in the country, maybe not California, but things are loosening up a little bit. Go support local. I saw the greatest thing yesterday that I think could have applied to restaurants, but it was more about music. And it said, listen, music venues are coming back. Here are the rules for going to see concerts, right? Over tip. Take care of the staffs. Don't complain about shit. Don't, all these things. Same thing with restaurants. Time to get out of your house, go visit your local favorite place, over tip, take care of the staff that kept you going. I know during the pandemic you were doing takeout like a mother. Go do that right now.
You mentioned over tip, and I'm going to tell you something. Most of it isn't over tipping. It's over tipping what you used to give. All right.
Correct.
And so
Double it.
Now I'm not correcting you. I'm just simply saying.
You're right.
Go out there and give till it almost hurts. You're like, I don't know. Should I give $12 or $14? Give the frickin' $14 because I think they deserve that stuff. And I cannot say enough that this has been a great conversation. We always have fun. Yeah. And now here we are ending on this serious note about how important it is to get out there and take care of the
Get out there and buy food.
Buy food.
Buy food.
And drink some beer. Mark Siltrop, 44 Stone is the restaurant we're at, and sister restaurant to 44 Canteen in the heart of the Midwest in Columbia, Missouri. Thank you, Mark.
Thank
Great
you.
time. Let's keep on drinking. Can we keep on drinking?
We can keep drinking.
Good.
This has been a podcast story. Tom's World Beer Tour. For future episodes, download and subscribe where you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeart, and Amazon Music. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or send us an email at tomsworldbeertour@gmail.com. All content property of Tom's World Beer Tour, copyright 2021. No beer was harmed during this production. Only consumed.